Well, hello everyone. So glad you could join me again today. Welcome back to the channel. This is video 9 of the Lighthouse and the Turbulent Sea, as you can see. And it's anyone who watched these consistently can tell that this part is done. And this part is the one we're going to be working on today. So I need to peel the cellophane off. A viewer did mention on a 5-minute video that there was no sound, and anyone who consistently watches my videos will know that the sped up version of these videos, because I go by the ones that I'm doing right now, that I do not put sound in my 5-minute ones and my 1-minute ones because they are sped up. And we're going to start with the letter I. And they would know that I don't like hearing voices and sounds sped up like that. It gives me a headache. So if you're watching those, they are just quick, sped up versions for people who don't have enough time, or they like seeing it go really fast. So no, there won't be any sound with those ones. And although I try to put out quality videos each and every time, I can't always guarantee that there isn't some inconsistencies to these. Just for your information on that. So, as always, please subscribe. It's 100% free, no cost to the viewer. It helps my channel. I'm at 20 subscribers now. I know it sounds very low, but starting out with 0, that's still 20 of you who have subscribed. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And there's like 40 some view hours now. It takes 1,000 subscribers to monetize a channel. And I think it's 2,000 view hours. I might be wrong on that one, but it's right around in there. And as always, I appreciate if you subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. It lets them know that you approve of the video. Don't do the bell notification, only if you want to be notified every time when I release a video, which personally could be very annoying because I don't know about anyone else, but I wouldn't want to be constantly bothered by notifications. And leave a comment, a suggestion, idea, question, etc. so on. If you do so on any of my videos, please make it 7 words or longer, or YouTube does not credit me with interaction with my viewers. Yeah, they actually help push our videos forward because we're interacting with our viewers, but they only do so through the algorithm. That's computer technology, and it has to be 7 words or more. We've been having a heavy deep freeze here while I'm doing these videos. It's pretty bad. It's really cold. Yeah, really, really cold. But, well, I do reside in the north, so it's to be expected here. So I'm having some trouble with these drills. They don't want to cooperate. So And I don't do a dub over on the 5 minutes and 1 minute videos either. First of all, I'm not quite sure how to do it. And second of all, it's a lot of time and effort for just really short videos. So if you want to hear conversation and while you're watching it, sometimes I do converse. Sometimes I really don't have much to say and I do it quietly. And where if you ask a question or something, I like putting them in the video and answering it through the message content. So just so you know, and I don't use special effects sounds and other things and dub over on them. It's just not my thing. And as I said, I myself dislike hearing the strange dialogue when you speed up a video. So I don't bother to do that. I actually detach the audio so you don't get that weird that type sounds that happen by speeding them up. And I know that some people may enjoy hearing that, but I'm going to say the majority of people probably don't want to hear that. And because of that, I don't bother to leave it in the video. And because depending on how loud it is can also affect the viewer. Like if it's really, really loud, that can actually hurt the ears. And so just to play it safe, I just don't bother to have it as a part of it. These eyes are just everywhere. So, but I think that pretty much covers it all. Still waiting for my knee surgery, which will be the second one. I hope this time it corrects it. It's really hard to do anything when every time you go to use it, it starts to immediately swell up and it doesn't want to bend or anything. So, let alone support my weight. I'll be happy when I can start doing other things. I'm still trying to get a hold of my plumber to fix that drippy sink. Don't know if it can be heard, but I did not. Usually I make sure before I start a video that I actually turn it in a way that it makes no noise while it drips. So, unfortunately, I forgot. And man, is that loud. Drives me crazy. So my plumber got himself a girlfriend. And she was having a baby. Yep. Which is why he hasn't been able to get here. And I'm going to have him replace the seats in the handles because that's what happens. So anyone who knows much about plumbing, a lot of times in why they start to drip and leak is because they have these rubber seats inside the handles that seat down and shut off the water. Well, when the seats start getting worn, or they're affected by hard water, because we have really hard water in this city, they stop working effectively. And when they stop working, they start dripping, which is really annoying. And instead of spending several $100s and reinstalling a new faucet, a lot of times if you get a good plumber that knows what they're doing, they have the ability to take the handles off, reinstall the seats, put new rubber back in, and they'll last some more years. I've noticed on newer people, they are not trained as well, in my opinion, as the old plumbers, because they don't know how to do that. And I personally think it's a mandatory thing, because my father did plumbing. And I used to help him do it. I'm just not really good at it. I don't have the strength and patience that it requires. I can install a new faucet, but they're really expensive. And they're not made any better than the old ones these days. So just installing the seats usually just makes me happy. It stops the dripping. So and a lot of times the seats are also attached to like these metal pieces. So like I said, you shut the water off, and then you take the handle off, and then you take out the seat, which usually there's a certain tool that you use to do that. And then you put the new ones in, and voila, it should work. And like I said, it's usually a lot cheaper. Although I'll tell you, some of them plumbers these days, I once called a place about fixing a stove for a person where I managed the apartment. And it was an older stove. And, you know, my father was into, like he said, a lot of the older stuff works better than the newer stuff these days. And I was like, I'm going to call and find out the cost, because a new stove, and it was a small apartment size one, runs around $400 to $600 depending on where you buy it from. And I told the guy that I worked for, I'm gonna check, see how much it would cost to have a guy come and look at it and possibly just fix the pilot, because that's what was wrong with it, is the pilot of the oven burnt out. And oh my God, you won't believe how much he charged. So he goes, on the phone, he goes, well, there's a $150 charge just to pull into your driveway, right off the top. And he goes, and the charge is, I think he said $10 a minute or something like that. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And crazy expensive. And then he, you know, when he asked like the make, the model, the age of the stove, and when I told him, he was like, well, I might not even have the part for it. I might not even be able to get it. Okay, we're going to do letter J now. And I was like, and you want to charge that much, and you don't even know if you can get the part. And he goes, well, that's my fee. And I was like, I'll have to let you know. I'll have to let the guy know. And I told the guy, I was like, it's an old stove. the pilots stay on all the time. If they go out, it's a hazard. I think it would be in your best interest to just go ahead and spend the $400 to $600 for a new electric ignition, gas stove under warranty, and have it installed. Because the amount that they want just to look at it, and then they can't even guarantee the parts, it is a waste of your time, my time, and it's a waste of money. And considering safety purposes, a newer one would be better. And he agreed, because I told him the fees and everything. And I was like, it's like highway robbery. I've never heard such ridiculous charges for that. And I mean, that was ridiculous. If they said, oh, we charge this amount for a whole hour, and yeah. And plumbers ain't much better these days. Another plumber, a person I knew that wanted a sink faucet replaced. They told me that the plumber wanted like $175 just to pull in the driveway, and then they charged like $75 an hour or something like that, and it might have been more than that. It was ridiculously high. Like, first they charge you just for driving there and parking the vehicle. As soon as they get out, they start charging an hourly rate. And it's like, wow, why? And it's crazy. To me, it's crazy. Okay, we're going to skip the why. That might be the last one we do. So we're going to come over and do the letter U. And like I said, my father did plumbing, and I know quite a lot about plumbing. I've even I've done a lot of stuff on my own, but holy God, no wonder people buy chemicals that they shouldn't, which are acids, and they stick them down their drains to eat at their pipes, and instead of hiring a plumber, because they charge you even before they get to your house. Like, it's $150 just to drive there. Wow, just crazy, And that's before they even get out of the vehicle. So my car broke down the other day, which I really don't need more expenditures than I can afford. I can't afford them as it is. And so I had to call a tow truck. And to get towed 5 miles, it cost me $150. Which I understand, And because they got the employee, the cost of insurance, the vehicle itself, and the cost just on and on and on and on for something like that. But oh my God, my garage, I'm telling you, I am so sick of the prices they charge. They charged me $60 to change a light bulb, a headlight bulb, that doesn't even take 10 minutes. $60 for a bulb. And I've watched this bulb get changed before. Oh, yeah. And I got charged $60. Like, unfreaking believable. That's all I could think. This is totally unbelievable. And then they changed a head gasket. And I got charged like over $200. It was like $240 for that. And they put in a serpentine belt. I got charged another. The bill totaled to $650. $650. And I dropped the vehicle off right around 10:30. They had it done before even 1. And I got charged that much. Unreal. Unreal. And they wonder why people with used cars don't want them. That's crazy. They don't want it. Run it into the ground, junk it, and buy a different one. It's probably cheaper in the long run. Okay, letter F. So we're doing sky right now. So like, I have no complaints about this garage's work. The people seem pretty observant, and they do their job. I don't see them on their cell phones all the time. They also have a window that you can kind of sort of look in. I dislike mechanics who are always distracted and they're not doing their job. They get paid pretty darn good for doing their job, and I want a competent mechanic to do the work. But oh my God, wow. I just couldn't believe how out of 3 hours, I ended up paying over $400 in labor fees for 3 hours. Although I have fired garages, if I catch their employees always distracted by their phone, their girlfriends, whatever the case may be, because one garage, the girlfriend, I didn't know this kid. I had used the garage before, but the owner usually was the one that did the work on my car, and or would also, and I could stand there during the summer especially and watch what they were doing. And I watched this new kid just kept texting, wasn't paying attention to what he was doing, etc., so on. And I had brought my vehicle in for an oil change and an assessment because I had just bought it. And I wanted to make sure everything was good on it. And why did I stop using the garage? I complained to the owner that I kept seeing him on his cell phone, and then his girlfriend showed up and he was busy messing around with her and not doing his job with my vehicle. Within a week later, I discovered my antifreeze overflow tank was empty. My car started running hot, and all I could think is, this is extreme gross incompetence. That kid, and I even went and complained about it to the guy afterwards and told him what I had found. And he defended the kid. And to me, this guy was a kid because he was less than 30 years old. And we're going to do letter T now. And because he did not like, oh, I'll give you a discount, or I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll make it right, or I will make sure that that person never works on your vehicle, letter L. He said nothing. I stopped using his garage. Guess what? 3 years later, his garage closed down. People stopped going there. Okay, letter Y. And in my opinion, it's like this. If you don't do a good job and the people you hire don't do a good job and they don't stay observant and competent and whatever the case may be, because again, if you're new to listening to my channel, I worked as a housekeeper. What does a housekeeper do? Whatever the customer asks us to do, we have to do it in a timely manner without overcharging the customer. And in fact, I would be so booked that I couldn't even take in new customers. Like, I'd be like, nope, I'm sorry. I'm already working 8 to 12 hours every day, 7 days a week. Can't do it. Can't do it anymore. And people wanted to hire me, you know. And people that would be visiting from out of state would joke and say, you wouldn't happen to go to, like, North Carolina to clean, do you? I live in New York, so of course I don't. But that's my point, is that to keep good customers and to do satisfying work, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to do a good job. And it's your reputation on the line. I didn't get to keep jobs. I mean, some people I cleaned for over 15 years. You don't stay an employee of someone for 15 years without doing your job and doing it right. So I don't like people who don't want to do their jobs right. If you're going to hire someone and they're going to make a gross incompetent mistake and you're not listening to the customer saying, hey, they keep getting on their phone, they keep texting, they're messing around with their girlfriend who just showed up, and they're joking around. They're supposed to be doing my vehicle, getting done with my vehicle, paying attention to my vehicle, and so then I can leave knowing that nothing's wrong with my vehicle, and yet they managed to miss the fact that I was completely out of any antifreeze in the holding tank. Then that's gross incompetence. That's like one of the easiest, quickest is to check the fluid levels of all the different fluids that your vehicle takes. And so just a little background history. I come from a family of do-it-themselves. And mechanical work was one of the things that my brothers did all the time. And us girls used to be handing them tools all the time. I know what a radiator is. I know it holds antifreeze. I know what a transmission is. I know it holds transmission fluid. I know where the pumpkin is. I know that it holds gear oil. I know where the oil goes into engines. I know that it holds oil. I know about all the fluids: gasoline, oil, transmission fluid, radiator coolant, depending on how you want to call it. And all of these fluids, including pumpkin gear oil, which you can smell if that ever leaks. Oh, that has a horrid smell to it, by the way. I know more about cars than I swear most people do because, well, I've hung over top of a truck before, changing out the alternator because my father got a different one because the one was failing, but decided he didn't want to put it in yet until the other failed completely. And when it failed, I happened to be with him. And it failed in the middle of a road, a country road, and here I am hanging over top of the motor, removing the alternator for my father, who was quite a bit older than me, and putting the other one on because it was inside the truck instead of replaced when it should have been. So, yeah. I know quite a lot about vehicles, and so to me, when I get garages who act sketchy or give me sketchy answers or don't want to listen to me or don't do their job in a competent manner, I will stop using them. And I will tell anyone who asks me, yep, don't use them, refuse to. And I'll tell them why, because they'll ask me like, well, why not? And so, and I feel just like when after the work was done, and I happened to left. Usually I stay and I kind of watch through the window and check on them. So that day I went home. It was freezing out, and I had been babysitting a dog for my friend. Yeah, she don't like her dog left alone overnight. So, and as soon as I got there, the first thing I did was pop the hood and start checking for the new head gasket that I paid for. Just to make sure there was a new head gasket there that I paid for. I checked the serpentine belt. Yep, know what that is. Know where it's located. Yeah, so I just started checking everything just to make sure. And the mechanic guy who worked on it actually came out and we started talking. So, because again, I'm pretty knowledgeable. Do I work on vehicles? Not usually. First of all, vehicles, when they start having mechanical issues, they're usually semi-older. And, oh my gosh, between road grime, rust, salt that they use here in New York State, and everything else, sometimes you need a acetylene torch, a post mall, and you name it, you need it, because you can't even get the part to come out. So you're torching it, you're post-malling it, and it's a struggle. And I don't enjoy working on vehicles. I think they stink because of all the fluids and stuff. And it's really not my forte. You know, I'll change a tire in an emergency. I'll do whatever I need to do. I even have a breaker bar in my vehicle, a short piece of pipe to give me more leverage because, well, I'm not real strong. I know where my jack is at and everything, but working on vehicles is usually more of a specialty profession. There's a lot of things that require special tools. Like if you do anything with a motor, you got to have a torque down bar, and that shows you how many psi, pound per square inch, that you're torquing it down, because the motor has specifications for torque down. Yeah, know about that too, and etc. So on. It's requires a lot of different tools. It really does. And not my thing. Not my thing at all. Just like most of the mechanics, you would never see them sitting and doing diamond art. So, and vehicle working can be cold as a mother, especially in the winter. So again, that's the one thing I always enjoyed about my housekeeping, doing that as a profession, is that it was usually warm. Of course, during the summer, I used to miss all day long. I'd be trapped inside. I will say that. That wasn't fun, but at least during the colder months, I didn't have to freeze or deal with the elements. So, but I have that attitude about anybody in any profession. If you're a doctor and you start to hate what you do, don't keep doing it. don't get careless. Don't put people's lives at peril because you don't like your job anymore. Same with nurses. You're taking care of people who are in pain, who need you. Not necessarily want you, but they need you. And if you're there just to collect that paycheck, that means you're neglecting your patients. And I've had that happen, and it pisses me off. I'm going to say that. It's the truth. It pisses me off. Any nurse who works and neglects their patients should be fired. They should have their license revoked. They should not be allowed to practice. It is absolutely wrong to let people suffer because you don't want to do your job. And they get paid very well. Very, very well. And I'm not condemning their pay. In fact, they should be paid very well. They should get good benefits. They should be paid well. My one girlfriend, she's a gas line worker. Yeah. She actually deals with gas lines, natural gas lines that can have anything wrong with them at any given time, indoors, outdoors, and can even explode if you don't know what you're doing. And she gets paid very, very well, and she deserves it. I don't want to go out and work on gas lines. I don't want to risk my life that way. But it's what she does, and she earns and deserves what she gets paid. And I believe the same goes for nurses and doctors and other people. But if you're going to do it in a neglectful, careless way, you're going to harm people or put people's lives at risk. You're going to let others suffer because you don't want to do your job, or who cares? Well, then you shouldn't be doing the job. You shouldn't be able to even be around them. And I just feel that way. Just like as a housekeeper. Would you want to hire a housekeeper who, when they come in and they do the work, that they are careless, they start breaking your stuff, they start knocking stuff over, treat your stuff like it's garbage because they don't feel like dealing with it today, so it makes it okay? Yeah. There's an elderly woman. I had already been cleaning for her sister for quite a lot of years. I want to say a good at least 6, maybe even 7 years. Or maybe it wasn't that long. It could have been 5 years, but I had been cleaning for her sister. And apparently she had had housekeepers before. And her sister was telling me, unfortunately, Joanne passed away. I liked her. She was nice. But anyways, she had told me that her sister, when the cleaners were due to come to her house, that she would take all the breakables and put them on her table and tell everybody, all her cleaners, when they cleaned, don't touch any of it. Leave it alone. Don't touch my breakables. Leave them there and leave them alone. And when I started working for her, and I told her, I said, I don't like breaking anything. I go, if one day, this is a funny story, one day at one of the ladies' houses I was cleaning at, and I had cleaned for her quite a lot of years, actually. And I came into work, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I kept dropping things, and I don't know. I almost broke one of her Corning collectible glasswares. And I go, Mary, I can't work today. I go, I got to go home. I go, I don't know what's wrong with me, but 3 times now I've almost broken something. I go, I'm going to break something if I don't go home. I don't know why I'm so uncoordinated today. And I did. I went home. I go, you ain't even got to pay me for the time I'd been here. I go, I had only been there like maybe 40 minutes or something. I go, but I'm going to end up breaking something. I just know it. I don't know why I'm so uncoordinated today. And I went home. Yep. And that's exactly what I told Joanne's sister. I said, I don't like breaking people's stuff, just like I wouldn't want you to come in my home and break my things. And do you know she never put her stuff away? Yep, she left it right where it was. And I would dust everything, and I took care of everything. And I didn't break her stuff because you're not supposed to, you know? And I guess the moral of it is if you're going to do a job, do it well. And if you're being paid excessively high to do it well, you better do it well. Or if you really hate your job, get a different job. Go for a new career. Don't make people suffer because you just don't feel like doing it anymore. You know, seriously. Yeah, that was a lot of talking. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story. But yeah, that happened to me on my first knee surgery. I got a nurse, and I was put out on a way outside wing where everybody around me, not just me, kept crying. The bells went off all night. She wouldn't even come and give us any medications or anything. Like she outright neglected us. The next day, I left that hospital under my own steam. They didn't even take me out in a wheelchair. I literally used a walker and walked out of that hospital. I took out my own IV. And they came out and actually asked if they could have put a Band-Aid where I had taken it out. And I was furious. I was absolutely furious at that hospital. I was furious at that nurse who neglected not just me, but everyone. All night long, the bells were going off. She never shut them off. Several times I even asked, I pressed mine to get help, and nobody came and helped me. I wasn't supposed to get out of bed to go to the bathroom, but nobody came to help me, so I was getting in and out of bed. I mean, everything. I just took care of myself. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, see you then.